get you now. I can hear you breathing.
You took your blindfold off. I win. I was in Christine and Nancy's room.
I may be a fan of horror films, but it doesn't take a lot to scare me. So don't be surprised when I say The Conjuring is one of the most sweat-inducing, edge-of-your-seat horrors to come out this year. Inspired by the cases of Ed and Lorraine Warren, The Conjuring's narrative is based around the haunting of the Perron family in 1971. Upon moving into their new home in Harrisville, Rhode Island, over the course of several nights, the family begins experiencing disturbing noises and supernatural occurrences, which leads them to seek the help of the Warrens, Ed being a demonologist and Lorraine being a clairvoyant. To simply put it, the film is a haunted house story that involves supernatural investigation and exorcism. You've definitely seen this kind of film before, so don't be shocked to find that everything is set up the way you expect it to be. If you're familiar with the Amityville Horror, The Exorcist, and even The Poltergeist, you'll know how this film will play out. But what makes the film chilling and nail-biting to watch is Wan's ability to manipulate scenes Alfred Hitchcock style in order to play with your emotions before finally scaring you. The agonizingly tense build keeps you on edge before a satisfyingly horrific payoff. James Wan definitely knows how to make a jump scare work, as every execution of a scare is accompanied by excellent pacing. His visual style is based on letting everything happen naturally. The camera explores the house and takes its time showing the audience what they don't see. The editing is a little clunky at times, such as intercutting establishing shots of the house in between interior scenes that took me out of the film. There's also the sense of repetition to be found, but it does have a payoff in slowly establishing what horrors are in the house. Outside the scares, I found Ed and Lorraine's relationship to be rather interesting. They acknowledge people think that they're lunatics and even attempt to debunk houses people claim are haunted. It adds an interesting dynamic because they do have an element of skepticism to them, until something genuinely unreal happens. Their exposition given to various cases is also something very few horror films do well. When someone questions why the people don't leave or why the demonic relics aren't destroyed, Ed Warren tends to come back with a great witticism. There is also an ambiguity hinted towards Lorraine. This mystery makes the Warrens connect to their work on a very personal level, and you do come out sympathetic for what they believe is right. In all honesty, it's the Warrens that make this film. They have such a great personality for giving exposition to ghosts and demons.
Nothing.
What are you guys?
Well, we've been called ghost hunters, paranormal researchers.
But we prefer to be known simply as Ed and Lorraine Warren.
In conclusion, The Conjuring is an extremely well executed horror movie that provides intense scares and also satisfying fun. The Warrens are extremely fascinating horror characters, and I would happily see them again, especially if Patrick Wilson and Farrah Farmiga come back with their impressive chemistry. I'm not usually a supporter for sequels, but I'd definitely be interested to see James Wan come back with the two leads and create films surrounding the demon murder trial and the iconic Amityville horror case. In my mind, I could fully support a Warren franchise. The only problem with The Conjuring is that it's just too familiar. It pays homage to classic paranormal horror films, but at the same time, it feels like it's just rehashing a lot of what these films did. That said, this is a film that much of the modern found footage garbage that's out there needs to take note of. The Conjuring is a captivating old school haunted house horror that uses many common tropes in an effective way. While it's definitely not original or something that you'll remember for months to come, there is nothing more that you can ask from a horror movie than to just be scary.